Cobra content. Welcome back to the channel. So after the last couple autocrosses, I've discovered that the Cobra has a bit of a lean condition when going from park to full throttle. I've only been able to reproduce it during autocross. So what we're going to try and do today, we're going to get the computer in the car. We're going to take some data logs on the street. We're going to see if we can figure anything out by looking at the data afterwards. So I'm going to drop the video of what's going on right here. And as you can see, when you start to get into the throttle, you see it after I shift from first to second and then try and get on it in second. The car breaks up a little bit and then I let out and then it's fine. I'm not sure if it's a fueling issue, a tuning issue, a heat issue from autocross. I might need to look at changing the plugs potentially, but we're going to look at the data on the computer and see if we can figure out what's going on and try and take steps from there. So I'm also going to show you how data logging works in these cars if you've never done it. It's relatively easy, but you need a computer and a couple cables. So here we go.
So as far as data logging goes, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need the cable that plugs into the OBD2 port that comes with the SCT tuner. You're going to need the tuner itself. You're going to need a micro USB to USB to plug in your computer. It is not a USB-C that most new phones come with. I had to dig for my cable for a while. And then this is a FireWire cable that I have hooked to my wideband. So if you watch my gauge install video, I'll talk a little bit more about that. I'll put the link in the video for you. And then you're going to need the SCT Live Link software. So the car needs to be running, and then you're also going to need to have a data log file. So you can make one, but you're going to want a configuration file. So step one is starting the car. So I'll show you this in a second. Alright, so once you got the car started, you just kind of follow the prompts on the screen until you get to this, where you can select what you want to look at. Now, I already have a loaded file. Yes. Where's my mouse? There we go. It's going to show me what I can data log. And I'm just going to double check if IAT2 is on here. Just hit configure, and then this is going to bring up your data logging suite, and then you just press this green button and it should turn on. It takes a second, and this doesn't work. Hold on, looks like I need to mess with it for this new car. But you get the idea. All right, there we go. I got this other file to work, and you just kind of get a mess of graphs and numbers, but that's what you want. You can look at all the stuff later on. Alright, so if any of you Cobras aren't used to looking at data logs, I pulled the first one up here. You're going to see you have everything you logged. You can, select it, unselect it, etc. If you do all of them, it looks like a mess. So what I have here, easiest way to look at it is I have my RPM graph. You're going to see that's my peak right there, about 5,700 RPM. And what I did is I set these 3 gauges over here to measure battery voltage, RPM, and one of the short-term fuel trims. So you're going to notice as I go through a pull here in second gear, we're over 13, dips a little on the battery voltage in the gauge right there. And then as we come in, you see my voltage starting to dip throughout the RPM to the lower 12s, even the high 11s. So if I scroll down and I add that to our graph, what you're going to see, we're going to have an inverse relationship with battery voltage and the RPM. Now, it doesn't really dip below the 12s, so I'm not sure if that's necessarily a bad thing or not. But you can see that on the graph here. Now, if I add my short-term fuel trims in, you're going to see some spikes here back and forth. And what you're going to notice is when the battery voltage dips, the car is trying to add fuel. So you're going to notice a 1.3 fuel correction means it's trying to add 30% fuel right in this spot here. So does that mean my alternator is not allowing the fuel pumps to push all the fuel they need? I am not sure. And then you're going to see the correction here if you look at the graph. As that stops and we dip into the battery voltage dip here, the short term goes back down and actually starts pulling fuel. Now this pull, I was getting some wheel spin, so it's hard to say whether that's related to that or not. So I'm going to pull up another data log and show you what a cleaner pull looks like. Alright, so here's a bit of a third gear pull. Kind of have the same setup here, right? So you see, battery voltage is in the 13s. And then as I get into the RPM, we see that battery voltage really start to dip. Now you're going to see here 0.82, which means the car is a little rich actually, but it's pretty clean throughout the pull. Now this car is on E85, so it is tuned a little rich. You see we get up into lower 5,000 RPMs here. The battery voltage stays above 12 the whole time. So I'm not really sure what to make of that, if anybody wants to chime in. Anybody that tunes. And then this is another data log. I just have the RPM here, but same thing, right? We're looking at into second gear. Battery voltage 12.56 at the peak. It stays over 12. Do you question, is that too low when you consider coming back down and cruising? It's 13 plus. I'm not really sure. So we got the Cobra in the garage and we're going to test out the battery with the multimeter and see if the alternator is truly dead. And I have a new one on the shelf from my old V6 car. Fun fact, the Cobra has used the same alternator as the V6. I have a PA Performance one that I bought for the V6 a while ago, laying on the shelf that I kept just in case, because I know these things eat alternators. We're going to see if I actually truly need to replace it or if I need to look elsewhere. So what do you think, Cobras? Take a look at the video. Let me know. Should I slap this PA Performance alternator in the Cobra? Do you guys think it's good? The data logs make me feel like I should slap this in, but the multimeter says otherwise. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Drop it in the comments, and we'll be back soon.